part of the reason I want to put together self-help is because I've been looking at these things over the years, at these sectors of personal development. And I found that every time I was in a dark place, I would keep coming back and revisiting these sectors. And it's really remarkable how each one can pull you out of the dark. And want to touch on a bit from the first section, which is exercise. Exercise is very beneficial for your cognitive thinking and your capacity to have rational thoughts. A lot of depression is built off of irrational thought patterns. And these irrational thought patterns often extend from restlessness. And oftentimes, throughout the day, your body, the energy builds up in you, because when you eat and consume, you have energy. Sleep gives you energy. So you start out with all this energy within you, and you have to convert that energy to something. That's the basic energy conversion theory. And if you don't convert that energy to anything, you end up having sexual urges a lot of the time that it wants to be released as a sexual energy. And then you get sexual frustration on top of that if you are not fulfilling that sexual energy. And a lot of times when you dispense of energy in a sexual manner, you feel completely exhausted. And unless it's being done in a loving, consensual way, it's not going to feel like energy well spent. So what do you do with all that pent up energy? A lot of people put it into their work, into their jobs, but half the time when you're working at a job, you're going to be sitting in an office desk or an office chair in front of a screen for hours on end. So you may cognitively be processing the energy, but you're not really moving. You're not dispersing of the energy in movement. And a lot of energy displacement in particles and chemicals is all have to do with movement. So what do? You got to exercise. And exercise can be as little as 30 minutes a day of doing push-ups, sit-ups, running, jumping, anything that gets your blood flowing and your body moving. So when your blood flows, it gets your brain thinking faster than normal. Because when you are sitting with a low heart rate and continually sitting with a low heart rate and not really getting that blood moving, then you are stuck in that state of sluggishness, and that will reflect, or your brain basically is a reflection of what your body is currently subjected to, and that could be an inability to get the blood moving properly throughout the body. And what exercise does is it stimulates the veins in your body to get that blood moving and flowing throughout the system, which will reflect on you cognitively, and that cognitive benefactor will inevitably cause you to have more rational thinking. Now, what you want to be careful is you want to find the exact amount of exercise where you can find an establishing point of where you are. You can set the parameters of where you can push yourself. So when you go initially to exercise, a lot of what people do is they'll hit the treadmill. They'll think they can go 4 miles on the treadmill without any proper warm-up or training beforehand, and they'll exhaust themselves. And for the rest of the day, they won't want to do anything else because they've exhausted themselves so much at the gym. So you have to find that point in your exercise regimen where you can slow down and stop and think, is this a good place to stop? You don't want to hop on the treadmill for 5 minutes and be winded and get off of it. You want to actually exert yourself, but you want to find that sweet spot where you're not exerting yourself too much, to the point where you're at utter exhaustion for the rest of the day. You can't function. So you really have to just find that sweet spot. And what exercise does is it's a continual upward spiral of positivity. Number one, not only does it get your blood flow moving and causing you to have more rational thinking, it actually stimulates the production of dopamine in your brain. And what dopamine, having a lot more availability of the chemical dopamine, allows you to be more motivated throughout your day to do different tasks. And so that's a very good beneficial thing. But you also have to be aware of the energy that you are depleting. You might be depleting too much energy, so you got to hydrate efficiently, drink plenty of water after your workout, and immediately within the 20-minute window after your workout. This is why when you go to work out at the gym, I recommend bringing some sort of snack of some sort, that particularly that has a lot of protein in it. Protein shakes are beneficial for that. You go into the gym, you do your workout, and then you immediately after, within that 20-minute window, you eat your protein snack. And that should rejuvenate your energies, because if you don't do that, what you're going to feel is, okay, one, if you're not drinking water after the gym, you're going to be dehydrated. And two, if you're not eating anything after the gym, you're going to be very low in blood sugar, and you're going to be exhausted. You're not going to feel good. And that session will almost incapacitate you. So it's really necessary to know how far you can push yourself and establish that parameter of when to stop, and then to rejuvenate yourself afterwards. And once you get that process down, then your entire day, the outlook for the rest of your day is going to look more beneficial, because now you can have more rational thoughts, and now you can have a more positive mood. And that's what dopamine, the chemical dopamine, causes. And the serotonin and endorphins that are released, these are all positive chemicals that cater to different functions of the body, but overall they lead to a more positive mood and a more willingness to get tasks done throughout the day. So that's why exercise is incredibly important. And I recommend that someone should create a regiment of exercise by putting it into Google Sheets and or some sort of tracking calendar format. You put it into that document, your entire workout schedule, and you create 3 layers, 3 colors: green, yellow, red. Green means you did exactly what you were supposed to do in the workout. Yellow means you tried to do what you wanted to do in the workout. Red means you did not work out at all. And you can keep track of how often you stick to your regiment and how precisely you are, you stick to that regiment. And by keeping track, you can assess yourself if you're feeling down for missing a day and you're like, oh no, I missed a day of working out. This is horrible. I don't have any more motivation to work out. But if you look at the calendar and you look at how many days you've actually worked out, and you see you've only slipped up once, it kind of eliminates some of that irrational thinking, and you can go back to working at the gym again and get some more green ticks in your calendar. And that's super beneficial, to just keep track of how well you're doing, because you can use that as a reference point to build off of and get better at. Because if you have no idea of how well you've done in the past and how well you're doing currently, you can tell some pretty nasty lies to yourself. And it's not something you want to be doing. And exercise also has a meditative aspect to it. You can kind of tune out life when you go to the gym. It's just you, and sometimes you have music or a podcast, and you can kind of just tune out everything, and it's almost like an escape. So it's perfect as a meditative tool towards life. If you're having any life stressors, you can take it out on just running on the treadmill or pushing weights, whatever is your favorite activity. You're exerting all of that negative energy off of you, and you're creating a more positive day. And what this does over time, too, with exercise, is you can see yet you start to reap benefits from your exercise. You feel more fit, you are more energetic on a daily basis. You're getting better sleep because exercise has been known to help with sleep. And you can see kind of like a cascading effect of your muscles growing in strength and being able to lift more, being able to run farther without running out of breath. And it's just, with all this effort, you're going to see returns. And that's going to inspire you to work in other aspects of your life, other areas of your life, to work harder there and to see returns there. I think everything just extends from going to the gym, exercising, even if it's just 30 minutes a day. I would try to make it like an hour every single day if you can. But you don't want to burn yourself out, so you want to mix up the workouts. You don't want to keep doing the same activity, the level of activity on a daily basis, because then you're just going to wear yourself out. You got to switch it up. Maybe on the weekend you do a harder set. Weekdays are, the parameter that you've set for yourself. You're routinely following that, and then you have a rest day, maybe on Friday, where you maybe do some yoga, do some light cardio, what have you, and that is what it takes to utilize exercise as a beneficial factor in your life. I think that, when you're depressed and super lazy, unproductive, and you are nihilistic, it's really hard to get going and really hard to establish that motivation. But I think you can really instill it if you just say, look, I'm going to go work out for a minimum of 10 minutes. Just start as small as you can. And when you go to work out, you gain that achievement. You've worked out for 10 minutes. You can put it in your calendar that you worked out for 10 minutes. And then you could see that you have a small success there. And then if you go back to your calendar over each day, you look at the small successes, you can gain motivation from that. And it will be a snowball effect to the point where you're actually pushing yourself as far as you can, to the point of not overdoing it. And once you've established that and you get that going every single day, your outlook on life is going to be a lot better. You're going to sleep a lot better. Your overall mood is going to increase, and you're going to have a lot more rational thoughts. And this is a huge benefactor for anyone that wants to get out of a depressing slump in their life, just to dedicate 30 minutes at least to the gym every day. Now, I'll have more to elaborate on this topic, but this is a very basic intro to exercise as one of the sectors of improving your life when you find yourself in a depressive downward spiral. All right. Yep.